All right, we haven't done PragerU in a good while, and we got a real good one here, I think. Conservatives are the real environmentalists. Oh boy. So harem is cringe. No, it's not, Salty Ace. I know you're asexual and you don't have any sexual urges, but everyone else does. So you're being very cringe right now. Okay, so I haven't done PragerU in a little while, but I feel like this video is just going to be an example of PragerU just lying. Because that's what they do. PragerU really likes to just lie to your face, because they don't really care. Because they know people aren't going to fact check any of their arguments or anything they say. So they'll just lie to your face, and they'll just do that. They're a bunch of fucking liars, dude. So, yeah, let's see. What are they going to lie about here? True! Oh
Companies
shit.
pollute.
Oh shit, I didn't have the thing on. Hold on.
I hate clean air and water. I don't care how much companies pollute rivers and streams. I don't even like trees. I just care about tax cuts.
Alright, we can end the video now. Everything that was said there was completely true. That is exactly what conservatives believe. Everything there was completely, true. Are we done? Can I... One in chat if we can just end the video there. I mean, they just went mask off. They just said what they believe. They were honest. That's all we needed. Hey, PragerU, hats off to you, PragerU, for just being honest about what you guys believe. It really feels nice, because conservatives like to lie about everything. It feels nice for them to every once in a while be honest about their beliefs, but I have a feeling there's going to be a big but. So let's watch.
Who am I? Well, that's easy. I'm a conservative. Or at least I'm a progressive caricature of a conservative. But the caricature is absurd on its face. Conservatives breathe the same air and drink the same water environmentalists do. Conservatives love taking their kids to the same national parks environmentalists do. In fact, the whole idea of national parks was created by a Republican, Ulysses Grant.
Do you guys want to bet that what Republicans were back when Ulysses Grant was alive was different than how Republicans are today? Do you think there's probably a pretty big difference between these two groups? Because the values of the Republicans and Democrats has changed significantly historically throughout like the history of America. Especially like if we're going back as far as like, you know how like a lot of conservatives like to say, "Oh yeah, well, the Democrats were the creators of the KKK." Well, yeah, back then Democrats were conservatives and Republicans were progressives. They were the more liberal party. Barry Goldwater was a Republican and supported abortion. Yeah, their opinions change a lot. Not even to mention that individuals with certain political ideologies don't necessarily fit into every single into like every belief that party typically has. Fuck, Ulysses Grant might have been really big on the environment, but in every other single position fit in with everything else that Republicans tend to believe. But it is overwhelmingly the case, especially in today's America, that Republicans have overwhelmingly pushed against environmentalism, pushed for disinformation campaigns to try to convince the public that climate change isn't real. They spread shit tons of misinformation and propaganda that is still pushed up by climate change deniers to this day. The argument that Republicans and conservatives are like pro-environment is fucking bullshit. They're either too stupid to realize that climate change is real and environmentalists have a point, or they know that they do, and they funnel significant amounts of money into spreading misinformation. Ulysses Grant was president in 1969 to 1877, back when Republicans were radically anti-slavery. That's true. They were even called radical Republicans back then. That's actually true. Hold on. For those of you guys that don't know much about U.S. history, radical Republicans were a faction of American politicians within the Republican Party of the United States from around 1854 until the end of the Reconstruction in 1877. They called themselves radicals with a goal of immediate, complete, permanent eradication of slavery without compromise. Do you think most modern-day Republicans would have agreed with these people? Were they in a debate together? I think if you sent most modern-day Republicans back in time, they would probably have a lot more in common with Democrats back then than they would with these radical Republicans who fought for the immediate ending of slavery. I don't know. They would say, but it's about states' rights. It's about states' rights. They still say that shit to this day. They make excuses for the Civil War to this day. This argument has absolutely no fucking... It holds no water.
Park system was greatly expanded by another Republican, Teddy Roosevelt. And the
Yes,
Environmental
also like 100 years ago. Nice.
Protection Agency was, yes, established by a Republican,
Richard Nixon. Ah, yes. However, Republican President Donald Trump has appointed a climate change denier to be the head of the EPA, has been massively defunded, just fucking gutted. Every single environmental protection, like, initiative that was put into place by Democrats has been gutted by Republicans. Overwhelmingly, Republicans don't believe in climate change. Not to mention, are we really gonna prop up Nixon here? Is that what we're gonna do? We're gonna prop up Richard Nixon, Richard fucking Nixon, who oh yeah, wait. As a matter of fact, what was his name? It was something Agnew. It was Richard Nixon's vice president. Literally commissioned or spoke at the unveiling of a massive... Yeah, there was Watergate. That's its whole own thing. Hold on. Spiro Agnew. Spiro Agnew. He spoke at the unveiling of this massive Mount Rushmore-esque carving of a bunch of Confederate generals into a mountain. Hold on. There's like a... And this was in the 70s, back when Nixon was president. Confederate memorial carving, Stone Mountain Park. Here it is. Is there a picture of it? Stone Mountain Park. I want to see. Yeah, here it is. It's a big fucking carving of like of three Confederate generals carved into a mountain in Georgia in the 70s. In the fucking 70s, when Richard Nixon was president. And Spiro Agnew was the one who spoke at the unveiling of the mountain. The fucking vice president, okay? Let's not make an argument this guy was like a progressive who cared about the environment. This dude is a piece of shit. Come on. Come on.
He liked clean air too. Conservatives want to conserve things. It's right.
We're unironically getting the conservatives want to conserve things because it's in the name. We're unironically getting that take right now. Oh my god. This take is a meme. I've never heard a conservative unironically say this. Never in my life. I've heard a lot of dumb conservatives, and not one has ever unironically made this point. This was always like a point that like lefties would make as a joke to make fun of conservatives because, yeah, conservatives are so dumb they would say something like that, right? Okay. For those that are interesting, being a conservative is about conserving tradition. That is all it is about. Keeping things socially the way they are. That is all conservatism is and has ever been about.
There in the name. And one of the things we want to conserve is our environment, because you can't have a healthy community without a healthy natural environment. That wasn't even hard for me to say, because I believe it.
Okay, so are you in favor of the Green New Deal? Or the, what was it called, like the Paris Climate Agreement? Like, are you in favor of those things? Because, I mean, Donald Trump thinks climate change is a hoax. Are you, like, a Trump supporter? I assume you are if you're on PragerU. So, are you, like, based? Are you, like, big time in favor of, like, are you in favor of recycling? I mean, yeah, they do recycle their jokes. That's true. You know, saying attack helicopter and over and over again, that is recycling. So they really do care about the environment. Do they actually care? Does he actually care about the environment? Is he about to go on about how he supports all these initiatives?
Conservatives love the environment every bit as much as environmentalists do.
Nice.
The question is, what is the best way to protect it?
Ooh, here's where we get the big but. All right, let's hear about how climate change isn't real. I'm ready.
And here's where we have big differences. The environmentalists say the best way, the only way, is through massive federal and even international regulations. Conservatives say the best way to protect the environment is by protecting property rights.
Ah, yes. Oh, no. Just go ahead and finish up.
Encouraging innovation.
Ah, yes. Ah, yes. Because if we let corporations do whatever they want and just expand their private property rights, they'll just choose not to fuck up the environment, right? That makes complete sense, right, guys? Like, you know, like if we, like, ExxonMobil, if we just let ExxonMobil do whatever they want and just didn't put any restrictions on them whatsoever, you know, they were allowed to do whatever they want to the environment, there would be so few oil spills, right? They would go out of their way to prevent oil spills and prevent, the downsides of fossil fuel use, right? They would go out of their way, right? No, as a matter of fact, ExxonMobil, if we didn't make them, would actually just completely switch. If they had enough property rights, they would just completely switch their entire business model to being solar farmers. They would just be solar farmers. They would cut off all of their greenhouse, they would cut off all of their fossil fuel usage and selling, and they would just become a greenhouse gas company, or they would use hydropower or geothermal power. They would just choose to do that. You wouldn't need the government to make them do it because, you know, corporations don't do whatever's in their best interest that makes them the most money, regardless of how it affects, you know, people or the environment. They don't do that, right, chat? They don't do that. That's unthinkable. Uncomprehensible. Ah, of course.
Safer, more efficient power, nuclear, geothermal, biomass, anything that generates...
Well, those are all good things. Yeah, geothermal, nuclear, biofuel, those are all good things, but these are not things conservatives are in favor of because it's not profitable enough. Solar isn't profitable enough. I'm pretty sure geothermal probably might be profitable enough. I'm not really sure. Like, these just aren't profitable enough. That's why these corporations don't do it. Why don't they do it if it's profitable? If it's profitable, they would do it. Why aren't they doing it now? Are like the liberals stopping them?
Safer, more efficient power, nuclear, geothermal, biomass, anything that generates energy at a price consumers want and can afford to pay.
Or, more specifically, because let's be honest here, corporations don't give a fuck about what you can afford to pay. Because, I mean, look at the American healthcare system. Hey, number one example, look at the American healthcare system, okay? You get a $2,500 hospital bill for a ride to the ambulance here in America. Doesn't matter if you can pay it or not. If you don't have insurance, that's a fucking hospital bill. You gotta deal with it. They don't care about whether or not Americans can pay for it and whether or not it's cheap and affordable. They care about lining their own pockets. This is not a hot take. This is not like a crazy hot take. Even the most fucking capitalism-loving liberals know that this is true.
To the extent that government gets involved in conservation, say protecting wildlife, it should get involved at the most local level possible, since the farmer, forester, or fisherman in Oregon knows a lot more about his environment than some bureaucrat in Washington, D.C. or Brussels.
That's not an argument for... What? That's not how it works. That's not an argument for... Is this just how they do their propaganda? They just say non sequiturs? Is that what this is? Okay. Farmers, notoriously, are known for fucking up the environment. Farming massively fucks up the environment. You have fertilizers and pesticides that get run off into like bodies of water. Like, for example, there was a farmers were responsible for the Dust Bowl in the fucking like 30s. That was the 30s, right? I might be wrong. I don't know. Fuck off. Not only that, but most recently, I think this was in my lifetime, bald eagles almost went extinct. Do you guys know why bald eagles are like a protected species in America? The most American bird. We'll use that as an example. It's because a very specific pesticide that was used by farmers. I think it was called DDT. DDT, I think it was called. I know I have to have someone in my chat that knows what it was called. It was like a 3-letter acronym. DDT. It was DDT. DDT. It was a pesticide used by farmers, and what would happen is it would rain, and that would get run off into the water, and once it got into the water, the fish would get it, and the fish had it in their bodies, and then the bald eagles would dive down because they're birds of prey. They dive down and they eat a fish, and it would cause the eggs that they lay for the shell of their eggs to be thinned, and this would cause their like success rate of their eggs to go down by like 90%. And so this was responsible for a shit ton. This contributed like a shit ton to bald eagles, like the American bird, being as rare and as endangered as they are today, or threatened species as they are today. That's just one example of how farmers have fucked up the environment. Construction workers. Do we need to talk about construction workers plowing down forests and natural habitats for animals to build fucking apartment complexes in cities? I mean, urban sprawl is like one of the biggest examples of environment of habitat loss out there. Like, okay, and fishermen. I mean, overfishing has been an issue for as long as fishing has been a commercial industry. Like, how long can I go down the list? These are all like huge issues, and conservatives don't give a single fuck about them because a conservative is defending these practices as we speak. Yeah, like draining wetlands, for example. They're pulling an Onision.
Democrat in Washington, D.C., or Brussels. So how can we tell which way works best? Let's examine the historical record. Today, and for the last century, the worst environmental offenders have been big, repressive, socialist governments.
How much do you want to bet that none of the examples he's about to give are repressive socialist governments? Are we going to get a Vuvuzuela? Let's see. Is he going to say China? I bet he's going to do China. Don't blame the workers, blame the higher-ups for those decisions. Cinny, do you think I was blaming the workers, or do you think I was blaming the higher-ups there? Obviously, the workers are just doing whatever they can do to make money, because they have to, because wage slaving. The corporation... When I talk about the fishing industry, or the construction industry, or farming, I'm talking about these as like I'm talking about these as a industry, not as individuals, right? Your average farmer that just does enough farming to make a living out in the fucking fields isn't contributing as much as like McDonald's is, clearing out entire fucking forests in the Amazon and then using pesticides and fertilizers that are causing bald eagles to go extinct. You said workers, I was just making sure. Well, yeah, because they were referring to like workers knowing better, but you know what I mean.
This was true in the last century, and it's true now. China, for example.
Oh, guys, I have to get up and go change my pants because I just busted a fat load in my pants because I'm always right about everything, and whenever I'm proven right about something, I just can't help but just bust a fatty. I'm sorry, I'll be right back. I'll be right back, chat. Just gotta get rid of that load. All right, change my pants. I wasn't doing that for a meme. I promise. Yeah, China is not a socialist, by the way. It's fucking state capitalist. This is well known.
Pumps roughly twice as much carbon into the air each year as the United States, even though the U.S. economy is almost 60% larger than China's. And how do those international agreements fare at protecting the environment? Not too well, it turns out. When President Trump announced his intention to pull the U.S. out of the Paris Climate
I like how they're making him do the OK symbol on the image. Nice meme.
Accord, environmentalists warned of imminent disaster.
I have to admit, though, this is a pretty good Trump drawing. This is pretty accurate. I'll be honest. Hey, usually, also his hands are way too big for this to be Trump. Let's be real here. But regardless, my favorite thing is that what Trump supporters like to do is draw Trump as like a deific god figure, right? Like, Ben Garrison is probably like the biggest example of this. If you look up pictures of Trump made by Ben Garrison, like, I have to admit, I give them the I give them props for not depicting Trump like this. Just like this completely unrealistic fucking like deific, like this is cult status shit right here. This is absolutely cult status shit. All right, let's continue.
Yet a year later, it turned out that the United States led the world in reducing carbon emissions. It did so without surrendering its national sovereignty.
A year ago? Wait. Is he going to give, like, an example? Because PragerU lies about everything. If we just look at their source, we're going to see it's a lie.
Surrendering its national sovereignty.
Is there going to be a source?
Moreover, Canada, the EU...
Okay, so he's just not going to give a source. Okay, I'm going to assume that's a lie then, because he just doesn't give any source. Wait. So wait, no. He says, the U.S. economy... Wait, hold on. Today, and for the last century, China has put off more carbon dioxide, 60% more carbon dioxide than America. Yeah, this just isn't true. He's just not going to source it because it isn't true.
Carbon emissions. It did so without surrendering its national sovereignty. Moreover, Canada, the EU, and China, all signatories to the Paris Accord, not only failed to live up to their commitments.
They are against the Paris Accord, of course. Yes. Very pro-climate, very pro-climate, very pro-environment, but, we got to be against any sort of initiative to try to help it.
But increased their annual carbon emissions. The EU released an additional 40 million tons of carbon dioxide into the air that year.
Do you guys want to bet this isn't true? Do you guys want to bet this isn't true? Hold on, we got like a little thing on the bottom left here. HTTPS Scientific American /article global carbon CO2 emissions - rise after Paris Climate Agreement sign. Let's see. Do they have it linked here? I don't have to type that whole thing in there. Let's see. EU CO2 emissions rise after Paris Climate Agreement. Let's see. I'm curious. I can't type, but I'm curious. Let's see. Global carbon dioxide surges record levels year after global energy-related emissions climb 1.4% to 32.5 gigatons in 2017. The National Energy Agency yesterday in an annual survey. The uptick coming at the heels of the major international climate deal signals an abrupt end to several years of stagnant emissions growth and raises questions about the world's commitment to reducing carbon levels. It's not good news, said Rachel Cletus, Policy Director of Climate and Energy Program, the United Nations Scientists. It certainly is a sign we have a great deal of work to do to meet the commitments that countries made in the Paris. Oh, so it's literally just they're just not following up on the agreement. It certainly is a sign that we have a great deal of work to meet the commitments that countries made in Paris to limit emissions and the harmful effects of climate change. They just aren't doing the things they agreed to do, apparently. And then people who are part of these associations, these climate scientists, they're saying, yeah, no, we need to work harder to do what was said that they were going to do in the Paris Agreement. They're saying that it was good, but they're not trying hard enough. The IEA figures were not particularly surprising, analysts said, as a strong global economy and low energy prices prodded emissions higher. That's true. Hold on, let's see where it says that in here. Because this is important. You have to keep in mind, PragerU always lies. Here it is. The IEA figures were not particularly surprising, analysts said, as a strong global economy and low energy prices prodded emissions higher. Growth in emerging economies like China and India has given global emissions growth for much of the last decade, they noted. In that regard, the growth of emissions in 2017 represented a return to the norm following stagnation carbon levels in 2015 to 2016. So yeah, things were just going back to the norm. This is just expected to happen if you have like a fucking booming economy, because energy output is just going to result in this. Okay, yeah, so it's just going back to how it was in 2016. Okay, nice. Good to know PragerU is lying like usual. You love to see it. I got scared for a second. I thought PragerU might have actually told the truth for once. Oof.
China, a whopping 120 million additional tons, all while wagging their fingers at Uncle Sam. Here's what you won't hear from your neighborhood Greenpeace volunteer. The left favors big government solutions not because it's better for the environment, but because it's better for leftism.
Ah, yes. Leftism. Notoriously known for wanting big government and lots of policy to keep people in check. Ah, yes. Very well known for... Yes, we leftists are very well known for that. As if there's a leftist government in America, either. Oh, yeah. As if the Democrats are leftist. Oof.
Take a look at the Green New Deal, an environmental proposal embraced by virtually every major progressive in America. Mm-hmm. Forget for a moment the impracticality of a plan that would outlaw most forms of American energy and cost $93 trillion.
How much do you want to bet that's not true? Do you want to bet that's not true? Let's see. Let's see. Are they sourcing it there? I can see something there. www.aspen, is that aspeninstitute.com? How much will the Green New Deal cost? PragerU always lies. You have to look it up. rstreet.org, Green New Deal problems. Let's see. Read our analysis in Politico. What is the Green New Deal? This seems like free markets, real solutions. Okay, dude. Is that the first thing that comes up? Yeah, it is an ad, actually. Everything that comes up is an ad. Factcheck.org. Okay, here's one from factcheck.org. It's fairly well known. Okay, numerous Republicans have touted a $93 trillion price tag for the resolution. President Donald Trump has rounded that up to $100 trillion, but the estimate, which comes from a right-leaning think tank, has important caveats, and experts told us the Green New Deal is too vague to try and estimate its cost. Oh, nice. All right. So it was just a lie. Poggers. Nice. Love to see it. Love to fucking see it. So the 93 trillion figure just isn't accurate, because you can't
Much of the proposal has nothing to do with the environment. Socialized medicine, reparations for historical wrongs, and a jobs guarantee program are just a few of the items on its wish.
Aren't Republicans, and those are all good things, right? Wait, aren't Republicans and, like, conservatives, like, aren't they big on more jobs? Aren't jobs, like, a good thing? Are we supposed to want more jobs? I thought that was a good thing. Well, I guess not. Oof. You hate to see it. Jobs are bad. You hate to see righting previous wrongs, more jobs, and socialized healthcare, which is, like, overwhelmingly, like, an extremely popular position or policy.
What do socialized medicine and reparations for slavery have to do with the environment? Well, nothing. But for supporters of the Green New Deal, that's okay, because
these are not bad things. If you think these are bad things, then you're a subhuman, degenerate piece of shit. If you think that, like, not having some kind of reparation for... Okay, so here's the thing, right? When we talk about reparations for slavery, I think about trying to right the wrongs that, like, the outcomes of slavery have caused, right? Because slavery, like, the bad things that slavery caused still affect black people today. Not as much maybe as, like, redlining and segregation does, but that's, like, that kind of reverberates through history to the present, right? Like, the position that black people are in today, they would not be in that situation if it weren't for slavery, redlining, segregation, and all of that, right? So if we fix those problems and make up for the terrible things that were caused by those, by those things, I'm pretty sure that's probably something we should try to do. Yeah, at the end of the day, conservatives just want to maintain profits for their corporate overlords. That's all they want. They just want to line their own pockets. This is well known. Not a controversial
Their
statement.
primary goal is increasing government power well beyond anything we've ever seen in America.
Ah, yes. The left wants to increase government power. It's not like Republicans want to take away people's bodily autonomy, to take away their right to get an abortion, or anything else like that. I'm sure there's no examples of Republicans trying to limit people's bodily autonomy or increase government power. Yes, yes. Putting more money into the military and increasing military spending, unbalancing the budget. Yeah, that's nothing that conservatives have ever wanted to do. Ah, yes, I'm sure.
They need this power, presumably, to save us from ourselves. In contrast, conservatives are all about innovating our way to a cleaner environment without depriving anyone of their freedom.
They're also really big about innovating their way to getting around blocks to get access to child porn. Because, like I said, this is true. All conservatives are pedophiles. This is very true. Vasha said it. I'm pretty sure Hassan has said it. And it just keeps getting proven right every time. I don't know why, but every single time, it just gets proven right. Yeah, just innovate isn't the solution either. You know what's kind of weird? Why is this guy's mouth this guy's mouth is shaped like an upside down triangle? I don't know why, but you ever see, like, how a character in South Park smiles, where it's like a triangle cut out, flipped upside down? That's this guy's mouth. Just look at it. It's so weird. It's a perfect triangle, just flipped upside down. Illuminati confirmed. Oh shit, you're right. Illuminati confirmed.
Take, for example, that monster of all green monsters, horizontal drilling for oil and gas, also known as fracking. The left demonizes fracking, even though it actually makes the environment cleaner, the country richer, and now independent of Middle Eastern oil.
Fracking makes the environment cleaner? Because is he gonna make the argument that guys, we're sucking the oil out of the environment, so we're making it cleaner? Now it's not deep there underground. You would have a point if maybe we were sucking it out at like a 100% success rate, like there were no oil spills or anything, and then we just like put it onto a rocket and sent it to like another galaxy so it was no longer on Earth anymore. Maybe then you would have a case there. Oof. Having flammable tap water is definitely making the environment cleaner. Yes. Oh, of course.
Something thought impossible a decade ago.
Yeah, it also ends up causing earthquakes too. Definitely good for the environment. Gas is coming out of people's drinking tap. Yeah, it's true. Wait, hold on. Look at this. There are people who are literally able to light their tap water on fire because of fracking. This isn't a joke.
I can often hold a standard kitchen match to my water, and like I said, it is unpredictable, but the methane randomly travels with the water, and sometimes it will light quite spectacularly. Just like that.
Imagine you fucking turn on your faucet and your water lights on fire because you have so much oil in it from fracking. PragerU just lies.
Now, Chesapeake is going to say...
PragerU is just, they're just liars. They just lie about everything.
How does it make the environment cleaner? By releasing up to 50% less carbon dioxide into the atmosphere than coal. And since it's also...
Yes. Oil is better than coal, so we should do nothing. That is why oil is better. Hey guys, it's still really bad. Maybe we should try our best to use a different resource. Maybe nuclear. Nuclear would be nice. That's a bit better.
Also cheaper, people are happy to buy it. Not because government forces them to, but because it saves them money. By the way, according to a
Well, because you have to, because other forms of energy aren't really as attainable.
Harvard study, fracking is safe and improving all the time. Yep, innovation that produces abundant, clean energy.
Do you want to bet that's true? Fracking is safe and improving all the time. Let's see if Harvard actually, Here's National Geographic. Will environmental damage from fracking natural gas, will outweigh the gains from using fuel that is cleaner than oil or coal? The use of hydraulic fracturing to extract oil and gas from the earth. Nah, come on. Come on. All right, whatever. They're probably lying here. We've gotten them 2 out of 3 times so far with them blatantly lying, so I'm going to assume this is a lie as well. I think we can do that quite confidently. They've already lied twice, so hey.
At a fair price without infringing on my freedom. That works for this.
I want to know what this guy's name is. Because at the end of this video, we're going to look him up and we're going to see if he has any connection to the fossil fuel industry.
Conservative. You'd think it would work for anyone who cares about the environment and people. So let me repeat. I love clean air and water, and I don't own even a single share of Exxon. I'm Michael Knowles, host.
Yes. I don't own a single share in Exxon, but I do own a single share in some other. Okay, Michael Knowles. Let's see. Hold on. Climate change. Let's see, Michael Knowles. Oh god, his Twitter. Michael Knowles breaks down why Americans should reject socialism. Interesting. This guy might be a lolcow we can make fun of in the future. We found some content for this guy. He's 30 years old. He looks like he's he looks like a soy boy. He's the guy that called Thunberg a mentally ill Swedish child. Ooh. You love to see it.
Diets are actually far worse for the environment than the regular meat-filled diets. They increase emissions, they increase energy use, they increase water use. But none of that matters because the climate hysteria movement is not about science. If it were about science, it would be led by scientists rather than by politicians and a mentally ill Swedish child who is being exploited by her parents and by the international left.
Okay. This guy's a fucking degenerate piece of shit. Ah, you love to see it. You love to see it. By the way, the argument that like the climate change movement, the whatever the fuck, is being headed by a child is not true. All Greta Thunberg is like if you go watch her speeches, all she says is, "Hey, listen to your country's scientists. Listen to your country's scientists. They're saying the exact same things I'm saying." The reason why it's not being headed by scientists is because people won't listen to scientists. Data and graphs and studies aren't interesting to the average person. But a little girl from Sweden who can go up on stage and give an emotional speech saying, listen to the scientists, is going to get way more attention. A kid who fucking stayed out of school and sat on a curb all day for like fucking months is going to get way more attention and be a way more effective head of a movement than a bunch of scientists. Because guess what? People in government who have monetary incentive in not listening to them don't listen to the scientists. The scientists have been telling them this for decades, and they do nothing about it. Ah, you love to see it. Yeah, no. PragerU is just fucking blatant propaganda, and they lie to your face constantly. You always have to look into their claims, because every single thing they say is a lie, and it's actually quite hilarious.